Hello, everybody. Hello. Happy Friday. Can you hear me? Sorry about the wait. Just waiting for everyone to get on into the studio with us. How are you doing, everybody? How is your Friday? Well, it was a very interesting Friday for LSU. Um, Everybody was there for a press conference with Joe Sloan, even though there was no practice media availability. And it was a question of who's going to ask Coach Sloan that question. Who's it going to be? And obviously, usually they pass that mic for that responsibility to the flagship paper, the Advocate. Usually, Wilson Alexander is going to get the mic, or Scott Rabelais will get that microphone for that type of a question. And so I was kind of waiting for that with Sloan, but Brian Kelly comes out before Joe Sloan's press conference even began and comes into that media room and says, hey, comes in the Lawton room and says, hey, this is what's going on with Nuss. So according to Brian Kelly, according to the team, Garrett Nussmeier has an injured patellar injury, a patellar tendon injury that goes back, an injury that's been aggravated from 2023. I remember this for a little bit that Garrett was hurt, but it was very much he's hurt and then he was fine in 2023. It really was much of nothing. I remember this being a little bit of a like, ooh, and it's like, well, he's our backup guy. Like, we're not going to be starting him. It's mid-season. Jaden Daniels having that epic year. It was like, as long as Nuss is fine for the future, we're good. Like, it's okay. So it didn't really register much. Apparently, that injury was aggravated, according to Brian Kelly. That's the exact word he used, aggravated, pissed it off, that injury, almost the same kind of lingo, same type of verbiage that Brian Kelly used when describing what happened to Aaron Anderson's knee injury from previously being aggravated by a high volume of reps, a high volume of summer workouts, then going into fall camp, boom. So you have that situation with Garrett Nussmeier. He felt discomfort on the practice field. This would be Wednesday. Had that aggravation where, I felt something. I'm smart enough to know, hey, I'm going to take myself off the field here, and we're going to go get this checked out. And so we're all scrambling. Everybody's, what the hell's going on here? Is Nuss okay? There's scans. There's this. Hobbled off the field. Oh, my God. He's in a body bag. Torn ACL post. Oh, my God, no. Someone just posted that Nuss has a torn ACL. Oh, my God. Is his leg amputated? To quote Brian Kelly's a joke that we didn't have to amputate his leg. Some of the madness around this was hysterical. And I understand why, because Garrett Nussmeier is that important and that valuable to this team. But the insane jumps from torn ACL, done for the year, oh my God, sky is falling, the world is tilted and on its axis, completely to it's a hoax, nothing happened, nothing to see here, move along. A lot of people trying to say nothing burger, this is nothing burger, very bullishly. And I argued on our show, not argued, but you know what I'm saying. I argued the point that it definitely was something to look into and something to be concerned about. I mean, it's Garrett Nussmeier. This is our stud of our team. This is our Joe Burrow for the 2025 season. This is the guy. As Garrett Nussmeier goes, this team will go. Okay. And I think after you've seen the way, Michael Van Buren can throw a football. And then, of course, there's the car accident that Colin Hurley had. You're hoping that he's truly 100% to go and to play live action football right now, if need be, because I think Colin Hurley is the future for LSU at quarterback, at least for the few years after Garrett Nussmeier, the few years that Colin will have eligibility wise. But when you're talking about Garrett Nussmeier and you're talking about what a prized asset, you've got to protect him, wrap him in cotton wool, put him in the vault until fall. Like, I get it. He can go out there and practice on this, and it's all about pain management at this point. It's about pain tolerance for Garrett Nussmeier. It's not that his patellar, this is according to LSU, they're saying he does not have a torn patellar tendon. That was said earlier that I can't remember who reported that, so I'm not going to throw out a name there, but someone said that it was a torn patellar. And I'm like, no. That didn't jive with what we had heard from before. And I also want to say this. We may or may not have known the location of this injury before Brian Kelly announced it. But as I told you yesterday, there was no way in hell we were ever going to report the location and the severity of the injury because we didn't want to screw over LSU's season. We didn't want to screw up what LSU's probably trying to do behind the scenes to minimize Clemson being able to access information on what happened to Garrett, or perhaps even create a target zone for this is where we're going to aim at and we're going to test his knee, that type of stuff. All of that I was trying to avoid with our kind of non-reporting on this issue. Like, we're reporting it, we're following it along, but we're just basically figuring it out as you are. We're doing the work behind the scenes. We're talking to the people, but I didn't feel comfortable reporting locations of injuries like that mid-season when a guy is still going to be able to play on it. We've never done that, and we're never going to continue to go in that. We're never going to go in that direction because we never have. The only times I've ever felt, well, it's suitable or it's not, is season ending. Well, crap, it's just happened. Someone's got to report it. Okay. This sucks. And you hate this for the player. But it's going to come out at some point. Someone's going to put it out, like however the player wants to put out, great. If the player wants to put out and announce it, it's just a terrible situation you don't want to even report, even be near, but it's part of the job. Like, it's just stark realities. It is part of the job. This, you really did not want to be the guy to report that Garrett Nussmeier had torn his ACL or something. And luckily that there was no one was in that position of having to do that. It was a patellar injury that was aggravated from his prior history from 2023. And so it's not very dramatic, and this was my verbiage all along, was I was saying we don't know the severity of this, and the reason we don't is because LSU isn't allowing anyone to know. Like, there's a complete shutdown of what's really truly going on here. And you heard everything from, I got a source inside saying it's his ankle, and he was in a brace, and this offensive lineman was wearing a brace and it collided with Nuss's leg. All this stuff was being thrown out there, and I remember telling you guys, like, hey, we're all trying to figure this out. Just remember, who's putting that out there. And that goes for us too. We've got to keep that, maintain and sustain a high level of reporting, earn your guys' trust, and earn it every single day with how we report things. And so I was never going to report Garrett Nussmeier's location of his injury. I don't understand why Brian Kelly did. Like, what was there to gain here from this? Everyone knows that something happened to Nuss, some type of minimal injury, and it was probably nothing, but people didn't know 100%. And so there was rampant speculation. That's fine. Like, it's okay. It's not going to affect your team if there's outside speculation on the health of your quarterback. Like, he's good to go. It doesn't matter what anyone says. And you don't need to kind of calm the fan base down, calm the internet down. Like, it's okay if people kind of want to go out of hand and say all this insane, he tore an ACL, he's out for the season. Like, okay, whatever. Like, in fact, it actually helps LSU more if there's complete, crazy, rampant speculation, because then Clemson doesn't really know what the hell to think. And then they're seeing footage of Nuss with no brace, no wrap. He's walking around the night of the supposed injury at an arcade with the LSU teammates. So the point I'm trying to get at here is, why did Brian Kelly give this information out there? Like, I don't understand how it serves LSU in any way, shape, or form to put this out there, other than to like give the media something. And you don't owe the media to know anything about your team or your players. And if they want to speculate, if the media wants to speculate, if the media wants to make up complete BS for clicks, then let them have it. Because guess what? It actually would have helped this situation if the media was shrouded in, I don't know. And so you would have had a good 45% of media people, including myself, who at some point, no matter how, ruthless or just content, just shit out content, get the hits type of a person you are, you're still going to move on from the story, because there would have just been nothing to report anymore. There would have been nothing to harvest, because it just would have, the story would have died on the vine of, is Nuss hurt? Is Nuss hurt? And so I don't understand the going out there and telling the media before Joe Sloan can't handle a question from somebody about that. Joe Sloan's a tough dude. I don't think he needed to be protected from that line of questioning, but maybe Brian Kelly just wanted to go out there and just kind of like say, like, hey, we're going to end this now. This ends now. No more speculation on my quarterback, damn it. And, fine. Okay. But I don't know why they did it. Because, like, I feel if, say, 2 days ago, the night it happens, I feel like if I had reported, hey, Nussmeier has aggravated a patellar tendon injury from his prior quarterbacking days, the Jaden Daniels year, he, serving as backup, had a patellar tendon kind of injury where he aggravated that area, which is right there by the kneecap, right by the shin bone, kind of connects the two. Does a lot with knee extension, extending the knee, which we'll get into in a second. But that didn't need to be out there. And now, obviously, if Nuss had a torn ACL, obviously, if he had some type of serious knee injury that was season ending, he wouldn't be out there versus Clemson. He wouldn't be preparing versus Clemson. And not only that, even if LSU wanted to be super, super like coy about it, pretending that he's fine, guess what LSU would still be doing? They would have increased the hell out of the reps for the other quarterbacks, right? They need more reps. And you would have seen that, and you would have been like, whoa, Nuss really isn't okay, because he got 10 reps and MVB, Michael Van Buren, got 40, or whatever. Colin Hurley got 35, whatever the number would have been. So my point is, with all of this, is thank God Nussmeier, A, isn't seriously hurt, at least according to LSU. And I'm going to take LSU's word on this. I think they really wanted to kill the rumors. I think they wanted to kill the swirling questions, because I bet their players in this time where they're really wanting their players to dial in and focus, there is a little bit of downtime here and there during these little breaks from fall camp. And that's where they're probably, the phone's blowing up, the distractions are there. I mean, everyone wanted to know what was happening with Nuss because everyone loves Nuss, and there are a lot of people who are friends with Nuss. He's friends with a lot of fans. He's friends with a lot of different people. And so everyone wanted to know, is he okay? What's going on? And not only that, besides his likability, you hurt Nuss. You take him out of this season, you really don't have a complete football team. And with Nussmeier, you have a complete football team. You have a complete roster that should have everything that it needs to take that, not just a next step, but a major leap forward in 2025 and be a dominant offense. You've seen it. Bauer Sharp making these one-handed freaking catches, and he's what, second string tight end? You've got so many freaking weapons at LSU this year. It's insane. And Garrett Nussmeier is the man to take advantage of that. He's the man to really maximize those guys and dial it up. And he's been working with them all off season. These guys some of them don't even feel like transfers. They're that familiar. They're that entrenched. Some more than others. Some have taken longer to settle in than others, like a Nick Anderson, but he is now settling into that perfect kind of groove right when you're wanting him to in fall camp. Nick Anderson, with that injury to Aaron Anderson, has kind of flown up into the roster and kind of the depth chart, and it's really taking advantage of those opportunities. And I think knowing, hey, I've got a better shot now to actually start with Aaron Anderson now hurt as well, which we have written an article going extensively into why and what happened there that we will post in the comment section and on the description. Maybe he's felt, okay, yeah, I'm ready to go now. With there's some room for me to operate now, maybe. But point is, Garrett Nussmeier, we really would be, everyone would have been sick to their stomach, absolutely sick, if something had happened to Garrett Nussmeier, season-ending injury, right in fall camp, when you're coming up on a season that was, everything's aligning for you. Your father is even, NFL journeyman assistant, living that dream, but paying that price of being away from his family to live that dream, and having to coach across the country, stuff like that, while Garrett's playing in Louisiana. He's coaching in the state of Louisiana this year with the New Orleans Saints. Everything is literally aligning. And so Nuss having this little bit of a scare injury-wise, thank God he's okay. But I wouldn't call it a nothing burger, even though out of 1 out of 10, Kelly said it was a 1.5. I don't think it's a nothing burger. I think it's something that we'll have to monitor throughout the season, because here's the thing. That can get torn pretty damn quick in a situation where he's trying to escape a sack. He's trying to make some movement real quick. He's turning his hips real quick. He's Peter Woods barely, maybe turns his face mask, grabs his face mask, and it turns Nuss a certain way, and his knees buckle in that kind of weird, awkward moment. There's a lot of things that can happen to your quarterback, especially behind an offensive line where 4 or 5 starters are replaced. Do not overlook these little little things where this is a season where we really need and expect Nussmeier to tuck it and pick up those extra yards. Tuck it, get to the line of, get past that line of scrimmage, maybe even beat a guy, get that first down using your legs. Take that space for little chunks of yards, then get out of bounds. You're expecting him to add something in the running game, Not saying he's needing to rush for over 300 yards and 5 touchdowns running the ball. I'm just saying that, 175, 200 rushing yards from Nussmeier and say 1 or 2 quarterback keeper type, design plays where he fakes it and walks it in. That's extremely effective for an offense that is as high flying as this offense is. Extremely effective. Now, I mean, what do you do? Do you handcuff Nuss and say you're basically just standing there? You cannot go running for it right now? Because let's be real, the likelihood, and I'm not trying to accuse or disrespect or make a fuss or be weird at all. I'm simply saying the realities that LSU are telling us 100% the truth about Garrett Nussmeier's injury in every way, shape, or form is probably not 100%. I mean, I believe them. I take them at their word. Everything I'm hearing is, yep, that's what happened. But that could have been a message now that it's like, hey, do you want to? Are you going to literally tell the media, your media friends, about your buddy Nussmeier getting hurt and where he's hurt? Are you really going to do that? No, you're going to tell the media people this because this is what we're about to put out there. Like, I'm not being all conspiracy theorist. I'm just saying this is how it works. Obviously, you want to protect the information about your players, about your coaches. Duh. And these type of media tactics from sports information departments, I mean, it's this is an old school one. There's crazy ones that they do now. I mean, some of the media tactics to like get under the media skin, get us to shut up, get us away from a story. Wow. I mean, we could do a podcast just on that. Without naming names, of course, of people, because nothing would be productive out of doing that. But so they have a job to do, and that's to protect information about their players, information about their coaches, information about the program. What could be more worth protecting or worth obfuscating or worth kind of pulling off some type of weird kind of media sleight of hand than the health of your quarterback? I mean, so patellar tendon injury, aggravated injury from 2023. Nussmeier got it, non-contact, felt something, left the field. Of course, now it's under his own power. So whether helped off the field or under his own power, like, there seems to me like somebody's like, hey, don't let them think that I had to be helped off the field, like, or don't let them think that Nussmeier was helped off the field. That's not fair, or whatever. Like, that's not fair to report the reality of the situation. Like, it's very weird, but I understand why it's not always LSU fans or LSU media's business to know everything, but it tends to kind of turn out that way sometimes. Point is, thank God Garrett Nussmeier's okay. Thank God he's looking to be ready for week 1 against Clemson, and all should be good for that game. Although, watch the lack of mobility, or if he's okay, running the football. Watch for the mobility. Watch for his familiarity, his comfort, moving side to side, moving in and out of the pocket, climbing in the pocket. When things are collapsing around him, does he rush the football? watching out for that knee. Just there's so many things to look out for here that this is likely a nothing thing to worry about, and Nuss is going to gut it out through whatever pain he has to deal with to get through the season and win a championship and win a Heisman, turn all those dreams into reality. He's going to play through whatever. I would seriously not be shocked if he had a torn ACL and LSU were like, what do you want to do? And he's like, I want to play through it. And they're like, we don't have any better option, so yeah. And then what are we going to say? I used to have this injury. Tell them this is the injury that happened. Okay, let's go. Like that could be plausible to me because Nuss is so damn tough and so willing to we have to win this year. I have to win for my guys. There's such a foxhole mentality. He doesn't just care about his own future. He wants, Witt Weeks, West Weeks. He wants Bauer Sharp. He wants Jack Pyburn. He wants all these guys, Aaron Anderson. He wants Caden Durham, all these guys to succeed alongside of him. And so I would not put it past him. I'm not saying that's happening. Not saying that's happening. I would not be surprised if that happened, though. Not be surprised. He is that much of a baller and that much of a badass. Point is, Garrett Nussmeier, luckily, is okay. Luckily, will be ready to go versus Clemson. And hopefully this kind of wakes that O-line up to, hey, you've got to protect this guy. I understand that, he didn't get hurt due to the offensive line. But now he is a little banged up, dealing with some type of something painful. However you want to categorize that. I know injury is a word people don't like to hear, but I guess that's what it is. But you've really got to have your best from this offensive line, or I'm really worried about this season, about the defensive lines we're going to face. I mean, LSU's defensive line is showing you exactly what this offensive line will be facing and dealing with in most of these, have to have them games. And LSU's defensive line is going to be among the best. They are absolutely massacring this O-line a lot of times. There's times where some individuals have some moments. Weston Davis has looked really good at right tackle. Josh Thompson has had some moments, but has also struggled in others. Left guard literally seems to be up for grabs from anyone from Chester or Mubenga. If they would stop getting beat one-on-one, they might have time to start at left guard for us. Carius Kern, the freshman, might have to move in there. And he's damn good. I love him as a player and a prospect, but he's a freshman still. Left tackle Tyree Adams, complete enigma. Don't know what you're going to get from him week one. So to say that, Nussmeier's hurt in this situation, but it's a nothing burger, I get why you would say that. He didn't tear his ACL, and that's what everyone first thought. I get and was, looking into. I get why you would call it that. This is not a nothing burger as long as he can manage the pain, as long as it doesn't affect his movements, as long as it doesn't get worse, the tearing. That's why I am really thinking they need to take advantage of this opportunity that they're not going to have again once the season starts and shut him down. Let the area heal. If this is something that can't heal within that time period for the season, I think if it can do any type of healing with time off, you need to shut him down. It's not like another fall camp practice is going to do him. I get it. You need as many fall camp practices together to get that chemistry, all that stuff. I think Nuss has already got it with those receivers, with his weapons. It's the offensive line. It's the running game that he really needs to get that chemistry and build that command with. Identifying when something is not going to work in the running game and we got to switch to something else. That's also on Joe Sloan. But Nussmeier working with that offensive line is so key, and he hasn't had enough time for that to occur. That's why these next few weeks are crucial, but that's why this injury comes at a really shitty time. And there's no getting around that. There's no, hey, nothing burger, it's all good, nothing burger express. Like, I get it. You don't want Nuss to be hurt. Neither do I. I don't want, his knee to have any issues with it. You hear the knee injury and you get really like, ugh, you get clammy. I get it. Nuss is going to be okay. I think he's going to gut through pretty much anything they'll throw at him until his leg breaks. Seriously. But you just don't want to see him going into a season already hobbled or pain-riddled or whatever. You want to see everybody 100% and all systems go, and we don't have to worry about this type of stuff. But instantly you've got, this is football. Instantly you've got Aaron Anderson, leading receiver from last year. And who knows what type of role he'll even be able to play this year, because he seriously has an arthritic knee, according to Brian Kelly, which is another thing that why would you say that out loud? Like, I don't ever want to hear again that from anyone at LSU, like, hey, you posted that and it took away this guy's draft status or diminished his draft. What, you have a head coach who's going around telling people that they got arthritic knees or telling the other team that our quarterback has a patellar tendon injury. Like, it's a little hypocritical, and we would not have put that information out there. We would not have done that. And so I feel like Kelly felt the information is going to come out. Someone's going to put this out there. We're going to control the narrative. We're going to put this out there first. I get it. I knew they were going to do that in some way, shape, or form. I just didn't think they would give us this much information. At least the information this is from LSU. And this is about their starting quarterback. I'm not saying LSU are lying, but I'm going to tell you I would understand and even respect the game of why they would be lying, why they would be trying to play games against the media and try and fool the media, whatever. Like, I understand that. I love it. I welcome it. And it's our job as media people to sniff that out and to try and see it when it's coming. Okay? But it's not our job in the media to, hey, let's make sure the whole world knows that this young man has an injury right here. So, hey, team that they're about to play, this is where you want to aim, right here in his knee. That's not the media's job. Like, you're literally setting up somebody to get hurt. The only time we've ever reported a midseason injury that wasn't season-ending, but actually turned out to be, was Garrett Dellinger. And that's because somebody told me he's not going to play another game this season unless maybe the bowl game. And so that's why I reported last year that Garrett Dellinger had that ankle injury. And it turned out to be basically a season-ending injury, sadly, for him. But for Nussmeier, the situation he's in, the opportunity he has, we were not going to put this out there. Whether the information came to us or not, however it did, we were not going to put this out there. And so I wish Kelly hadn't, because I think that a lot of the people for LSU media probably wouldn't have reported on this, I'd like to think. So I just, maybe he knew someone was about to, and so he was like, shit. Okay, let's control the narrative. I don't know. But Nussmeier, patellar injury, aggravated from 2023, still healthy to practice, healthy to play against Clemson. Not at 100%, but just about. It'll be this season about limiting, extreme crazy movements on that knee, limiting the pain, trying to manage the pain as much as you can. If they get big leads and Nuss already has a pretty big stat line, and if he's feeling a little bit of discomfort there, they're taking him out of the damn game. You can be rest assured, because while he is chasing a Heisman, Nuss will win the Heisman if LSU are in the college football playoff, in the Final Four, in that type of territory. We need to get there, and so we can't have him injured. Protect him. You're gonna have to protect him and his injury and this from getting worse, more than going after nonstop stats. I don't think this is a big deal. I don't think this is a big deal right now. As long as the pain can be managed, as long as it doesn't become something that this is the thing, I would love someone, a medical expert, to come on the show. We actually invited a few to come on the show. One of them didn't get back to us. The other didn't reply, and then the other refused. Such is our luck. So we would love to get someone to talk about this, because I want to know if this injury could become a torn patellar tendon. Like, can he aggravate this into a torn patellar tendon? Can he aggravate this into an ACL tear? Can this affect the other ligaments? I want to know everything about this area and what Nussmeier will be dealing with this season as we go through. Like, is this going to be something that where week 1, he's good. Week 5, maybe Ole Miss game, double overtime. Okay, now he's starting to feel some soreness. Week 6, he takes a pretty nasty hit in that leg area. The fall actually hurts the knee more than the hit. And from then on, he's got some serious pain in that area. And then the pain starts to really come. And then just week to week, the pain just gets worse and worse and worse. And then you're trying to handle it, and you're trying to figure it out, trying to get on top of it. I want to know what those outcomes look like. I want to know what all of those scenarios look like. I want to know exactly what to look out for Garrett Nussmeier, as far as not letting this injury get worse. Because if all of this takes is for Nussmeier to sit out the next few weeks of practice and let this heal over, and I'm no medical expert. I would love to have someone on the show to discuss this. We will get someone on the show to discuss this. If that is all it takes, is Nussmeier to sit out a few weeks of fall camp practice, which is damn important, I understand, but him being healthy is the most important. If that's all it takes, do it. Shut him down, like the second that you knew about this. So a lot of intrigue, a lot of the saga is a lot of fake kind of bullshit that was being thrown at the wall by anybody from opposition fan bases to wannabe reporters, which I guess is you could call us a wannabe reporter, but we've at least broken some national news before and stuff like that. So, like, I mean, we've at least done some. We've at least reported news. We've at least broken news. We've at least set the news cycle on occasion. But if you want, we probably are in that category of, guys who are on the younger side of doing this. And even though we've got 8 years at this, we're not as experienced as some of these old hands, and we still have much to learn. But I really think this whole incident, this whole thing taught me a lot, showed me a lot about the entire college football social media and media landscape that I was overlooking. it is frankly crazy. The speed of emotional rampaging was incredible. The screams for bloodlust, the screams for, oh my God, like the reaction to every little thing, like it was this to that to this to, I mean, and I thought watching Seinfeld was exhausting. Like, holy shit. Our reaction as a fan base, um, the amount of direct messages I got, and I doubt I was far from the only one. I'm pretty sure, and everyone from Shay Dixon to Moscona to T-Bob to, whoever, even remotely associated with LSU's media, Jacques Doucet, people like that, all these main heavy hitters, their phones were probably on fire. I mean, I literally had to like, hey, 1 second, I need to go handle this. I need to go, hey, everybody, give me a second. I got to go solve, this thing of what the hell is going on with our quarterback. Oh my God. It was quite a frenzy. And it just taught me a lot of things about the whole landscape. And I'm just very blessed in my life to be able to cover LSU. I'm just blessed. I feel like it is something that I will never take for granted. The fact that someone from Utah could have people in the South, people in Louisiana specifically, people from New Orleans, which, New Orleans predates Louisiana. It's like its own country. We've had support from people in the boot all along, and without those guys, without those ladies, without those families, we wouldn't be able to do half of what we've been able to do. And so I want to thank all of you guys. You guys are awesome. I really want to. What is this? What is this? Why you mad? Comments. Kelly just rambling. Yeah, I mean, just rambling. I don't know what you mean by that, but I think we'll see what's up and see how severe it is with the Clemson game. I think that'll tell us a lot. But I think right now it's quite obvious that Nuss is okay. He's going to be fine. He's good to practice, even though, it might be more prudent to shut him down. But Nuss is just going to – you can't keep him away from this. You just can't. He's coming. He's going to be playing no matter what's going on. So, I'm looking forward to the season he's going to have, and I just hope that there's no more BS, no more barriers in his way. But thank God Nussmeier's okay. We're about to launch another show, another live stream immediately after this one in 5 minutes, because LSU, believe it or not, have another running back that is just gotten arrested, turned himself in, and you've already lost Trey Holly to legal stuff. Your room is really thin. Already was thin, but you love what you got, but it's still thin. Well, now you've really got a strange situation here with JT Lindsay that we're going to be getting into. So join us on that live stream in just one moment. Live on LSUODYSSEY.com, live on YouTube, live on X. Join us on any of those platforms, but we'd prefer that you use the LSUODYSSEY.com platform, give the site some traffic. And thank you for watching, joining with us, commenting, hanging out with us, and all the subscriptions. We are getting so close to being able to get some actual money on YouTube. If you get over your 1,000 subscribers, we are so close, so close. And I know some people don't completely trust in us. I know some people may have trusted in us at one point and don't right now. I know some people don't quite think we're legitimate. I know some people think we're, their number one LSU source. So I understand that some people may have different opinions on us. That's fine. This is America, and you are free to choose what you want. And there's so many to choose within LSU. But here's what I will say. There are a lot of people who make very wide sweeping comments about what we say and what we feel and what we believe in and what we're writing about without ever watching our stuff, without ever reading our stuff, without ever really coming to a place where they can even understand what we're actually talking about. So I just hope you all reject that type of BS. And if you want to know something about how we feel about something, it's always going to be there, whether we write about it or talk about it, or do a guest appearance somewhere or whatever. You will, we're going to put that out there. But don't let someone else tell you how, he reported that Caden Durham is going to leave Oregon, when in fact I reported that Oregon wants Caden Durham to leave and are tempting him with NIL offers, which then in turn made LSU give Caden Durham a shit ton of money to keep him at LSU. Like, two very different things. Two very different things. So give the content a chance, whether you like us or not. At least do us the courtesy of doing your due diligence and say, hey, you're wrong because you said and did this, or you said and wrote this, and it actually is inaccurate. This is what happened. Like, all of our content's right there for you to go through and prove that case. But don't be spreading BS and trying to hurt people's reputation and things like that, when that's just not cool, especially when we wouldn't dream of doing that to other people. So just a little note right there. But everybody, check out the Lindsay stream that's just about to start, and we'll be talking to you in just a second. Go Tigers.